a sunken island. Not too long ago, there was a massive 475,000 square kilometer island filled with forests of juniper trees. However, this massive island, which would have been comparable in size to California at one point, eventually sunk far below the surface of the Indian Ocean. Today, the shallowest point, Kerguelen Plateau, of this former landmass is a whopping 700 meters or 2,300 feet below sea level. The site of this former island marks the southern end of a vast, almost completely submerged continent, albeit a microcontinent, which is known as the Kerguelen Plateau. It spans a vast area, covering a 2.53 million square kilometer stretch of crust spanning across what is today a 9,900 kilometer long region. It is notably raised far above the deep surrounding ocean depths, making people wonder, how did the Kerguelen Plateau and its associated microcontinent form in the first place? While the brief answer involves repeated unimaginably large outpouring of basalt lava, termed flood basalts, the more detailed explanation is more interesting. Of course, there are still 3 remaining island groups that exist above this microcontinent today, all owing their existence to active volcanoes. There are the Australian Heard Islands, McDonald Island, and the massive French island group known as Kerguelen, which is 11.9% larger than the size of the US state of Delaware. If only this island had a similar population density to that of mainland France, then 880,230 people would have lived here. However, the actual population is only 50. Despite its remoteness and the ability to go where no human has set foot before on remote parts of Kerguelen Island, it is a far cry from the massive former landmass which once existed to its southeast. 130 million years ago, the Kerguelen microcontinent began forming a whopping 130 million years ago in the early Cretaceous period, when the eastern portion of the supercontinent Gondwana began to break up. This breakup, which involved modern-day India, Australia, Antarctica, and Madagascar, was triggered by the upwelling of a large region of unusually hot mantle, presumably 300 degrees Celsius hotter than the surrounding mantle. Known as the Kerguelen hotspot, the area above its rising mass sent volumes of magma into the crust. Much of this would either solidify as dikes, but strangely at first only causes modest eruptions of lava on the surface, whose remnants can now be found at the Bunbury basalts in the southwestern tip of Western Australia. Only 10,000 cubic kilometers of molten rock was emplaced across the following 10 million years. Finally,